welcome back to my channel where recently we've been swatching all the convenience colors in my palette by whatever the first pigment number is, and today we are on blues. This is the largest section of my palette with 71 colors. I was a bit shocked when I realized that 71 of my convenience colors started with a PB pigment, but at the same time there are so many PB pigments that I'm not actually that surprised. So let's label the sheet and then we'll get into it. So I've decided we're going to split this video into two parts. We're going to go up to the beginning of PB29 in this section because there are so many PB29 colors and I feel like they should all be swatched in the same video. So first part of this series is going to be pretty short, and then the second video is going to be a bit longer. So let's get into part one. I'm actually going to take away these sheets so that I don't get paint on them by accident. First up, we have Scarlet Hematite by Artistic Isle. It is PB11, PR101, PY42. I quite like this brown. It's like a nicely moody brown, and I use it quite a lot actually. Then we have Addison and Sedgwick's Pulitzer. This was part of the Cities of the World Volume 4 palette and is PB15, PY43, and PBK11. Then we have KoZPaints Hosta, which is PB15 and PG18. I have pre-wet all these paints just to let them sit for a little bit, though some of them need more time than others. Then we have Addison and Sedgwick's Andes, which is PB15, PB28, and PBR7. I will say that I don't notice the other pigments as much in this. To me, it just feels like a cobalt turquoise without actually containing cobalt turquoise. And so I would rather just have a cobalt turquoise. Then we have Black Green from Rosa Galleries, PB15, PBK7, and PG7. This falls into the colors from Rosa Galleries that I actually enjoy using. It's just such a nice, dark, moody green. Then we have Addison and Sedgwick's Silversmith. I really like this color. It is PB15, PW6, and PR102. And it is quite a nice, dark teal that has some fun granulation to it. Then we have Holbein Compose Blue. It is PB15, PW6. I use this color quite a lot in my Holbein palette, specifically for like waters and sky pieces. We have Beam Violet. This is their small flower violet. It is PV15.1, PV23. It is a very purple violet, but is still quite pretty. And just like, it's so pretty. We have Rosa Galleries Indigo, PB15.1, PV19, PBK7. We have White Nights Azure Blue, PB15.3, I forgot to write the 15 apparently, and PG7. This was one of the very first like turquoisey colors I added to my palette, and it's still one of my favorites. We have Core Indigo, which is PB15.3 and PBK7. I do like this indigo. I find it leans a bit too turquoise, but I do like it still. We have Cosmic Creations Barati, which is PB27, PB29, PY20, and PBK11. I love this green. It is so nice and moody and is so much fun for like trees and foresty pieces. We have Shipwrecked by Beyond Indigo. Again, I love her stuff. It is PB27, PR12, PV15, and PBR7. It sort of like reminds me of something that could have been a Schmincke super granulating color, but more fun. We have Green Mist by White Nights, PB28, PY3. I really like this color. I think one thing White Knight's granulation does really well that Schmincke didn't do well is the really bright colors. Schmincke didn't do brights in their super granulating series well at all, and I knew it was possible because people like Kelsey of 31 Purple Fish can do it. White Knights didn't disappoint in their brights. We have Chromium Cobalt Mist by White Knights, PB28, PG7. This is a darker, oh, the sizing on this spot's weird, darker, sort of moodier green. We have Windsor Noon Terre Vert, continuing my series of green earths that aren't actually green earths, so PB28, PG18, and PBK19. Apparently by the time I got to this point, I couldn't write, because it's written as PG, but it's actually PB. So we'll fix that at some point. Rosa Galleries, Cobalt Turquoise. It is listed online as just being 36. It is not. I checked every pan in my store after I purchased this pan and realized that it was not the single pigment. And so every pan my store had was this PB28, PB36, even though online it is listed as being a single pigment, which is one of my issues with Rosa Galleries. Their pigment numbers online are not what they have in store, and even the signage in store had the wrong pigment numbers, which as a buyer is really frustrating. White Knights Rose Mist, PB28, PR122. Again, one of my favorite White Knights colors. Did the brights really well in this set, which just like made the Schmincke super granulating colors more disappointing. We have Turquoise Rose Mist, PB28, PR264. We have Cobalt Mist by White Knights, PB28, PBK7. The poured version, because I do have this in both tubes and pans, and they do look different. So this is my original, which I poured myself into tubes over a year ago, I want to say. And then we have the pan version, which is the same pigment number. This one doesn't look as different as some of them do, but there are some that have a bigger difference. We have Rosa Galleries Jade Green, which is PB28, PBK7, and PY42. This is the newest Rosa Galleries addition to my palette, and I don't hate it, but I also don't know that I love it. We have Sky Blue Shadows, the poured version by White Knights, PB28, PBK11. And then, slide this out of the way, we have the Sky Blue Shadows pan version, which is PB28, PBK11. I would say that this one's one that seems to have a bigger difference, at least wet. It's much lighter than the tube version, while still being quite pretty. So we're gonna let these dry and then I'll go through them all. So I've decided it actually makes more sense to review all the colors together once they're dry at the end of part 2 and we've swatched all the colors. So this is where we're gonna leave part 1. Part 2 should be on the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.